Hi, I'm Danielle. Thank you so much for joining me in this course. My intention for this course is to share techniques with you that will help you refocus an active mind, relax a stressed body, and reconnect with yourself, which will in turn help you reconnect with others, your loved ones, your acquaintances, everyone. And I hope that these techniques can benefit you not only today, but for the rest of your life, because these are techniques that you can use and practice throughout a busy lifestyle. All of these techniques that we're going to use incorporate mindfulness. Mindfulness is a term that basically means non-judgmental, focused awareness. So what we're going to do is we're going to train the brain to focus on techniques so that we shut off all that active chatter and excessive worry and tap into moments of stillness and calm throughout the day. Let's say when you're waiting in line at a grocery store, when you're walking to work, when you are walking anywhere, when you're breathing. One of the easiest techniques we're going to use is our breath. We breathe all day long. So this is something that you can tap into multiple times throughout the day. Mindfulness is really important for the brain because what tends to fire together, neurons that fire together, wire together. So just like people say practice makes perfect, it's true. It's literally true for our brains. Because when you practice a skill over and over and over, it starts to become easier, you start to be more efficient at it, you start to be able to just tap into it whenever you need it. And that's the important thing about this course. The practices I show you are simple enough to incorporate into your life, but you have to practice them. And I'm going to show you such a variety of techniques using various arts and movement and incorporating mindfulness so that you can say, you know what, I like this technique, and this technique. I'll use those. And that's fine. You don't have to love all of the techniques, but I want you to find what works for you, because what works for you works. What works, works, and you just have to start being able to incorporate it into your life and practicing it. Mindfulness meditation can be really powerful for the brain by stimulating the prefrontal cortex. The prefrontal cortex is associated with our personality and our ability to make executive decisions. So, when we are in a moment of stress and our bodies react in stress in ways that I'll describe in the next segment, our blood rushes from our prefrontal cortex to the back reptilian brain to essentially keep our vital organs functioning and keep us alive. But this isn't good for our personality, our decision making, our reactivity, right? So a lot of times when we see somebody in high states of stress, we think they aren't acting like themselves. And it's true because the blood is rushing away from their prefrontal cortex. But studies have been shown that all of these techniques, incorporating mindfulness, stimulates the prefrontal cortex, makes us more aware of our surroundings, more self-reflective, and more able to make executive decisions in a calm and rational way. So it's all beneficial for us, but practice makes perfect. And I want to really focus on the fact that the practice is more important than the product. So let's say we do a writing technique and you're like, oh, my writing's terrible. Try not to judge it. It's more about the practice so that we're getting our brain working in a different way. We're getting into that flow state. We're training the brain to refocus in a different way than what you come up with. You don't have to create masterpieces here. We're just more focused on the practice than the product. So let's get started. Something really simple and easy to start working into your day is using the breath. Now, mindfulness breathing typically asks us to just focus on the breath and just observe it going in and observe it going out. But if you have an active mind like me, it's hard to stay focused on that for longer than a few breaths. So we're going to alter it just a little bit. We're going to focus on our breath going in, and we're going to focus on our breath going out. We're going to focus on our breath going in and out. but start to lengthen the exhale. See how long you can go. And then inhale fully. Relax the neck and shoulders and exhale, lengthening the exhale. Kind of like you're blowing through a straw. See how long you can go. And we're going to do that again. Inhaling fully. Relaxing the neck and shoulders and exhaling as long as possible. Notice what happens with the mind when we're doing that. When we're actively focusing on a technique, our mind stills. Our focus is on the technique. It's not easy to think about other things. It's not easy to stay in that constant loop of worry and concern and just reenacting things that already happened. Maybe I'm telling you too much about myself, but that's the way I am. So it just helps you to shut all that off and maintain a focus on stillness, even if it's active by using the breath for a couple of moments. And personally, I feel like 30 seconds of calm is better than 30 more seconds of stress. So please start using that. You can do it anytime, when you're watching TV, when you're driving. I think that a really good time to use this technique is when you're at a red light, because we have to be at a red light anyway. There's nothing else that we have to do. We don't have to be in a state of stress at the red light. So take that opportunity to just focus on lengthening your exhales, to refocus the mind, calm the body. And then when the light turns green, you're ready to go. I also use this to help me sleep at night. So if you have trouble getting to sleep and turning off an active mind, this is really good for that. Sometimes it takes a little longer than 3 breaths. Sometimes for me, it takes more like 10. So just keep that in mind. Just maintaining that focus on lengthening the breath can really help. And I hope you enjoy it. Start using it, and I'll see you in the next segment. Welcome back. This time, let's talk about the stress response, which is also called the fight or flight response, as we know. But did you know that our bodies and our brains respond to stressful stimuli the same way as if we were early humans and we have to literally run from an animal or fight for our lives? This is not necessary in everyday life. It's good when you have to jump out of the way from a car, or you have to save a baby from falling into the water or something like that. When you have to spring into action, it's excellent that our bodies and brains still respond in this way. But if somebody just honks at you in traffic or somebody's rude, we don't have to get into that full fight or flight response, but we do. Our bodies do, whether we mean to or not. So this course is designed to help us recognize that and break out of it with these mindfulness, movement, and arts practices. So when we get into stress, our heart rate increases, our respiratory rate increases, the rate at which we breathe. Our blood rushes to our extremities to fuel our arms and legs to literally run or fight. Our white blood cells get sticky and kind of go on standby at the surface of our skin to essentially respond to a potential wound. But you can see how this kind of stress response might not be beneficial for a person that's in long-term stress. If you're in long-term stress, these reactions aren't good for your body, especially your white blood cells not going to places that they need to filter and help the blood. Our blood pressure also spikes, and our body starts burning carbs rapidly to essentially fuel the muscles to fight or run. So like I said, this is an essential when we are in regular everyday stressors, when we're just getting stress from work or family. This is not necessary for our bodies to be responding as if we literally have to fight or run. Again, like I said in the first segment, the blood rushes from the prefrontal cortex to the back of the brain to essentially just keep our vital organs running, but it changes us. It makes us more reactive. It takes away our personality. It takes away our executive decision making. So you can see how when you're in stress, we often react in ways that we don't like. We often speak in ways that we don't like, and we don't really mean to, but it's our body in that stress response. So this course is designed to help us recognize that and to take our self-care into our own hands and react to stress when we don't need to react in a more healthy and balanced way, and to retrain the brain. When we're stressed, our muscles and demeanor also changes. So I'm going to share a story with you that can demonstrate that. Typically, if we're really stressed out, people curve forward to protect the core. So you see a lot of people like this when they're really stressed. Or people puff up. A lot of times men puff up when they're stressed to look like more of a threat. It's subconscious. It's not really something we're deciding to do, but that's what happens. And our bodies get out of alignment, and then we get tension and sprained muscles and aches and pains in our lower back. So our practices coming forward are going to help us realign the body as well, and to be aware of physical changes in the body and how to change that. For the past 10 years, I've been providing therapeutic music for patients at hospitals and also teaching stress management techniques there. And this story, I think, is very representative of how our physical demeanor changes when we're in an extreme state of stress. So this one time I was asked to go see a patient that just received very difficult diagnosis, and they were alone at the time. So I knocked on the door very gently, entered the room very quietly, and it was pitch dark in there. Just totally dark, blinds drawn. And I see a figure in the bed that's curled up in a fetal position with blankets pulled up to their eyes, and their eyes just staring at the wall in almost a look of terror. I said, "Hi, I'm Danielle. I just sing songs, and I was coming to see if you feel like a song today." And they nodded yes. And I just chose from the person's age and just demographic what I thought might fit their style of music. I started singing, and by the end of the first verse, I noticed that instead of being in a fetal position, they had stretched out in the bed and turned to look at me. By the end of the chorus, second verse, I saw them moving the bed up to sit up more straight and be present with me. Then by the end of the song, they were sitting up, relaxed in the neck and shoulders, and swaying to the music. At the end of the song, they sighed and said, "Wow, why is it so dark in here? Let's let some light in." And I thought that that story was so representative of how just shifting our focus can really change that constant stress response and that constant state of fear or anger or worry. And all it was a focus on some relaxing music. We're going to bring that in another segment. But I think that's a good representation of how we can tune into our bodies, tune into our responses to stress, and say, what's going on here? Okay, I'm getting into the fight or flight response. Let me actively break this cycle and make a choice to break myself out of that and get myself into a state of calm. And when we break that cycle, we are able to get out of the fight or flight response and into a rest and digest state. I hope that information helps you to become a little more aware of what happens to us. It's normal, we're human, but what happens to us when we are confronted with stress, and how we can make actions to change that. Thank you. Welcome back. We are about to talk about my favorite topic, music as medicine. But first, I'd like to give you a little background on myself. I come from a very large, loud, musical Italian family where everyone in the household sang, just every day. And we would swing dance with mom in the kitchen, and it just was kind of a regular, normal thing that we all listened to music, our own kinds of music, and we all sang. And I found that when I went to college, that when I was confronted with roommates that didn't grow up in that kind of environment and grew up in really quiet households, that it became very difficult for me to not be able to use music as an outlet. And that's when it occurred to me that music is therapeutic, and we often use music in therapeutic ways, even if we don't really realize it. If we have heartbreak, we tend to listen to heartbreak songs. And in the hospital setting where I've worked for the past 10 years, this is really powerful. So I'd like to share just some facts about how our bodies and brains respond to music. Basically, when you listen to upbeat music, your heart rate picks up. When you listen to slow music, your heart rate slows down. So that's why when you're in a gym or in a club, it's just that constant pound, so that it keeps your heart rate up and it keeps you energized. But when you're in a state of stress, your heart rate will already start to pick up. So you want to make a choice to not listen to upbeat music in those instances, and instead choose something that's very slow and very relaxing in rhythm. So that's the focus there. Lyrics can also be really powerful. A lot of times lyrics attach to things that we're going through, so you can be conscious of that. But music attaches to memories. And I'm sure there are times that you've listened to a song and been taken back to this specific time, and you were with this person and you were doing this, and you can even remember sensory perceptions from that memory. And that sort of thing is so amazing to me. Our brain categorizes things and stores information, and music can be really powerful for doing that. So sometimes patients will say things to me like, wow, when you sang that song, I smelled my father's tobacco smoke. I actually heard a patient say that before, and this isn't a rare occurrence. Sensory perceptions come back from our stored memories, and music is really powerful for storing memories. It's really great for dementia and Alzheimer's patients. And what I do there is I typically choose music that is of their time. So with everybody, our time is between age 15 and 25, so to speak. So when you are between 15 and 25, the music that you're listening to at that time becomes what you identify with as your music. So when I meet people, for example, the elderly that are maybe having neurological disorders that are being treated, I'll try to choose music from their time so that they are brought back to memories that they can be taken out of their state for a few moments. This has happened in front of me before. There was this one time when a patient wasn't able to speak because their speech center was so jumbled from their neurological disorder. And the nurse told me, just, pick something and we'll just see what happens. The patient also had forgotten their children's names, which is very common in these disorders. And I started singing Blue Moon, which is kind of a classic 50s song. And all of a sudden, the patient sat up and started singing along to the words of the song, and clear. You could hear him speaking clear. And he sang every word to the song till the end, and then sighed and said, I used to dance to that song with my sweetheart Millie. And his children were in the room and heard that and saw their father the way he was. And they got to experience that, and it all was just a song. As far as I'm concerned, that's pretty easy medicine. Similar to our heart rate, our respiratory rate, the rate in which we breathe, slows down with slow music and speeds up with upbeat music. And the oxygenation in our bloodstream increases when we're listening to music that we love, especially relaxing music. And our muscles start to relax, and our minds start to turn our focus to the music. So I'd like to give you a practice to do. I'm going to sing you a song, and I'd like you to recall the breathing practice we did at the very beginning, where you just focus on slowing down your exhales as long as you can, then inhaling fully and doing it again. But I'd like you to try to maintain that focus and that practice until the end of the song. It's just going to be a couple of minutes, and if your mind wanders, it's okay. It's natural, but just say, oh, not right now, and bring it back to the breath or back to the music. And let's see how we feel at the end. This song is one of my songs called Take My Worries Away. The rain is rolling in, the sky rises with the wind, your eyes are bright as the day. Oh, won't you stay and take my worries away? The room's so cold, but you're so warm. We could just stay in bed, wait out this storm. Your eyes are bright as the day. Oh, won't you stay? Take my worries away. And then let your breathing become more natural. But hopefully you feel a difference from the beginning of the song to the end of the song. So that's something you can do. What you can do is start making a playlist for yourself that is your feel-good playlist. And maybe you choose 2 different playlists where it's a feel-good playlist that's upbeat and a feel-good playlist that's down-tempo or relaxing. And you can choose from songs that are your time, or you can choose from just songs that you just love, you know, just when you hear it, you just can't help but be into it. You can also choose songs that might be associated with happy memories. You could even think about songs that remind you of people that you love. But the idea is for it to be a feel-good playlist for you. It's specific to you, your mind, and your memories. Like I said, you can choose upbeat or slow. If you are in a state of stress at the end of the day or in the middle of the day and you want to use this to help relax the body, then I would choose the slow tempo playlist. But if you're feeling a little down, a little lethargic, and you need a pick-me-up, choose the upbeat feel-good playlist. And I hope this is helpful to you. I appreciate your time. Enjoy. Welcome back. This next practice is one that I use very often. This is going to be variations of writing practice. I'd like for you to get out your pen and paper. It could be scrap paper. It could be, you know, whatever is comfortable for you to use. Again, I use little books like this because they're just easy for me to carry around and have on the go. And we're going to do a couple of practices. One of them is going to be a stream of consciousness writing. This is really good for just getting out all the chatter and the things that you have to do and the lists and the priorities and the worries out of your system onto the paper and out of your brain. Another one we're going to do is going to be a peaceful visualization exercise. So this is a little more of a meditative practice. So let's get our paper out and get ready to write. Again, don't worry about the product so much as the practice of writing and how our brains and bodies respond to this practice. Okay, so for this exercise, I put on a timer for 2 minutes. But for yourself, you might notice that you can do maybe 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes. But the idea is to just fit these little practices into your day. So whatever works for you is fine. Let's start with 2 minutes today. I'm going to put on a timer for 2 minutes, and I'd like you to just simply write stream of consciousness. Don't try to think about it too hard. Don't try to reread what you've written and analyze it, but just let it be a flow state of just getting things out on the paper. And you'll be surprised once the timer starts, we just start to go. And you might think, I have nothing to write about, but it starts to come out. So just let whatever comes out, come out, and we'll see how it goes at the end. Okay, so that's it. You don't have to reread this. This isn't for anybody else to read. This is just for you. You don't have to worry about what you wrote. You don't even have to keep it if you don't want to. Sometimes that stream of consciousness writing, I just throw out because I like to just get it out of my system and just let it go. So that's for you to decide. The next practice we're going to do is a peaceful visualization writing exercise. This is also a meditation practice where you think of a place that you've been that you love that made you feel at peace. It could be a place in nature, or it could be a place in someone's home or your own home or, backyard. It really doesn't matter. But the idea is that it's a place that you can visualize, that you have seen in person. And what you do, if you'll join me now, is to close your eyes and focus on not only what you see there, but what you might hear, maybe smell or feel or even taste if that's associated with your memory. How does this peaceful place make you feel? And I'd like you to just open your eyes, and when the timer starts, start writing about your peaceful location. And that's that one. You might notice the difference between a stream of consciousness writing practice and a peaceful visualization writing practice, that your language becomes a little more floral in your peaceful visualization, right? You become a little more descriptive. It's less about things I have to do, things that are on my mind, and more about this ideal scenario. So this is really powerful for the brain. And also just getting into that flow state of creating is really powerful. But even just sitting for a couple of moments and visualizing your peaceful place, your favorite place to be, maybe visualizing a loved one and trying to think of all the details, all the sensory perceptions that you can pick up. It's amazing how our brains respond. Our brains respond as if we are actually there experiencing it. So I'd like you to use that in various ways. Perhaps you don't have time to sit down and write, even though it's just 2 minutes, 2 to 5 minutes or so. Perhaps you just want to spend a couple of moments to visualize something peaceful. Some examples I can give you just from my own experience have been like favorite weather, favorite food, loved ones, specific memories with loved ones, almost reenacting that. Favorite places, favorite colors even. One time I wrote about my favorite lamp that I grew up with. It really doesn't matter, but if you're in the mindset of things that make you feel good, again, your brain responds as feeling good from that process. Another writing practice that you can consider is positive affirmations. Positive affirmations are when you write something that you would like to happen, but you write it in a way that this is going to happen. So let's say I want to make a beautiful meal for dinner that's like so delicious. Instead of writing, I really hope I can cook or something like that, I will write, I am going to create a beautiful meal for my family. Something like that. Me personally, I'm a songwriter, so sometimes I have trouble finding inspiration. So sometimes I'll write affirmations like, I can find inspiration from everyday life. I can find something beautiful in anything. And it changes my mind to start basically looking for something beautiful, basically looking for something wonderful and everyday that I can write about. And it starts to make me more grateful and more aware of all the great things that do happen in life and all the things that we can be appreciative of that we don't often act in appreciation. I hope that can be helpful for you. Those are a lot of different writing techniques that you can incorporate. Choose what works for you. Try all of them first so that you get an idea of what works for you. And try different times a day. Perhaps you'll find first thing in the morning is nice to do 2 minutes of writing while you're sipping your coffee or your cup of tea. Maybe at the end of a long day, you just do that stream of consciousness to clear your mind and let yourself rest. Something that I do before a presentation is to write so that I focus my mind so that when I go into the presentation, I feel more open and aware. I hope this is helpful for you. Enjoy! Today I'd like to talk to you about positive thought and positive affirmations. Negative things in the environment are bound to happen, one way or another, but we can choose how we react to these negative situations. We can allow it to pull us down and allow every other part of our lives to become negative as a result of our mindset. Or we can choose to remain in positive thought. Maybe you can choose to see negative interactions as a learning experience. Maybe you can choose to see it as just something that's happening and is bound to pass. So today we're going to talk about The difference between positive thought and positive affirmations. Positive thought is great. It's beneficial to stay in that uplifting spirit. Positive affirmations are when you say something that you want to happen in an affirming way. So instead of saying, "One day I want to feel calm," you will say, "I am feeling calm." You are affirming that this positive behavior is happening, and therefore will happen. So you can write any positive affirmation that speaks to you, something particular to what's going on in your life right now. However, I'll give you some examples of ones that you can just repeat to yourself, or get out a pad of paper and a pen and write it down so that you can read it every day and remind yourself of it. Here are a few positive affirmations related to health and well-being. I love myself and I am perfectly healthy. 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 I am getting healthier and feeling better and better every day. I am getting healthier and feeling better and better every day. I am getting healthier and feeling better and better every day. I am getting healthier and feeling better and better every day. I am taking steps to help and heal my body. I am taking steps to help and heal my body. I am taking steps to help and heal my body. I am taking steps to help and heal my body. I am eating nutritious food and drinking water to cleanse my body. I am eating nutritious food and drinking water to cleanse my body. I am eating nutritious food and drinking water to cleanse my body. I am eating nutritious food and drinking water to cleanse my body. Every day is a new day of hope, happiness, and health. Every day is a new day of hope, happiness, and health. Every day is a new day of hope, happiness, and health. Every day is a new day of hope, happiness, and health. Every day I become more energetic and my mind more calm and peaceful. Every day I become more energetic and my mind more calm and peaceful. Every day, I become more energetic and my mind more calm and peaceful. Every day, I become more energetic and my mind more calm and peaceful. Okay, we're going to get into the arts practices now. Not all of them will be your cup of tea, and that's all right. I want to give you such a variety that you can pick and choose what works for you. And again, what works for you works. So then you just start using it and practicing it. We're going to start with a simple art practice, and I'll need you to get a piece of paper and pen or pencil, something easy. I use little books like this because they're just easy to carry around, slip in my purse. They even make pocket-sized ones. They're not too heavy, not too thick, just simple. And when you're ready with your pen and paper, we're gonna do Zen Enzo circles. This is a practice of creating a circle with one swipe, relaxing the neck, shoulders, arm, wrist, hand, and starting once your pen hits the paper, one swipe and creating a circle. Trying not to analyze it, because that's the whole thing about all these practices. Non-judgmental, focused awareness. You're trying not to judge yourself and say, that was a terrible circle, but just be in the practice so that you get into that flow state. So again, relaxing the neck, shoulder, arm, wrist, hand, pen to paper, and one swipe to make a circle. And that's it. Notice how your mind is when we do this practice. I'd like you to try it one more time and just observe yourself, so to speak. Relaxing. How about on this next one, we do the circle on an exhale. Good. How about one more? Simple, right? But you notice how your mind just stills for that moment? The action of creating the circle calms the mind and shuts off all that extra chatter. Now, if you're an artistic person, this is also good for doodling. If you like to just draw or paint, that's wonderful. You can also get those mandala-shaped geometric pattern coloring books. Those are really popular right now, those adult coloring books, and it's great for our brains. That's why it's becoming so popular, because it's really good for creating a sense of spatial awareness and creating a sense of refocus and calm. So I hope these practices can be used in your daily life. This is something where if you have a scrap piece of paper and pencil and you're going into a meeting and you're scattered, you can just sit for a couple of moments while you're waiting for the meeting, do a couple of Zen circles, or before you go into a presentation, to just still the mind, refocus, and calm the body. I hope that helps. Enjoy. Welcome back. Okay, we're going to start doing some musical practices that might be a little bit of a stretch for you if you're not a musical person, but I promise you that these are beneficial for the brain and the body. And also, this is just a way to use a practice for the sake of the practice, not the music or the product that is a result of it. Okay? So we are going to drum. And we're just going to drum with our hands and our bodies. So don't worry about needing a specific drum. You could even use a countertop or a desktop, whatever is easy for you. What we're going to do is start with just right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, and join in with me. We're going to keep this consistent. Try not to speed up or slow down, just relax tempo. Now let's start incorporating the breath. Breathing in And slow exhales. Good. What we're doing here is stimulating the motor cortex for our right hand and our left hand, stimulating both sides of the brain, and then engaging the breath in our respiratory system. Makes it even more challenging, but truly a focused practice, right? It's not easy for you to think of other things. It's not easy for me to speak right now. So let's try it again. Breathing in and out. And you can go at your own speed with your breath, but try to make it long, full on the inhale, and slow on the exhale. Relaxing the neck and shoulder muscles, relaxing the arms, allowing you to only use minimal effort to move the arms and create the rhythm. Now let's start to speed up just a little bit. This is something you can incorporate when you're listening to your own music, your feel-good playlist. You can just try to match the downbeat, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 on your right hand, 1 on your right hand, and create a rhythm with the music you're already listening to, tuning into that music to focus the mind, and then start to engage the breath to focus and relax the body. Speeding up just a little bit more. Drumming and singing are both amazing in the way that the brain and the body respond. We've already talked about how we respond to music in general, but drumming and singing also boost our oxytocin endorphins. It also decreases our stress hormone cortisol, and it boosts the T cell. They're basically the cancer-fighting and disease-fighting cells in our body. We get a T cell boost and an immunoglobulin A boost. Sorry, let's go. And we're going to speed up. Ready? Get ready to stop on 1, 2, 3, 4, stop. Nice. Nicely done. The brain and the body respond amazingly to drumming and singing, and we are going to do singing in the next segment. I hope that this was fun for you. Find a way in your day to use this where it's not a big to-do. You can practice on your desktop, on the dash or wheel of your car, when you're cooking, pots and pans, and just on your body or on your environment around you is easy, to where you don't feel like you need tools for this. It's all about the focus of the mind and the stimulation of the brain. Thank you. I hope you enjoy. Hello. Please take this moment to remove any distractions from your environment and find a comfortable position to rest in. Please silence your phone for this next few minutes. Maybe you can dim the lights and allow yourself some time for your mind and body to become rested. Now close your eyes and take a deep breath. Now slowly exhale. Take another deep breath. And slowly exhale. One more deep breath. And slowly exhale. Please continue this deep breathing throughout this exercise. You are now falling into a deeper level of relaxation. Imagine a place of perfect tranquility, a quiet, calm environment where you feel safe and relaxed. This could be somewhere you know or somewhere you imagine. Inhale deeply and exhale slowly. Imagine yourself in this environment in perfect health, free from worry. Imagine yourself in this environment in perfect health, free from worry. Imagine yourself doing things you enjoy in this calm environment. Imagine yourself doing things you enjoy in this calm environment. You are now going into a deeper state of relaxation. Recall a time when you felt calm, relaxed, and in good health. I'd like you to repeat this next phrase with me, either mentally or out loud. I am allowing my body to heal itself. My body is becoming healthy. I am forgiving myself of my mistakes. One more time, repeat this next phrase, either mentally or out loud. I am allowing my body to heal itself. My body is becoming healthy. I am forgiving myself of my mistakes. Now recall a time when you were happy and cheerful. Imagine yourself in this time when you were happy and cheerful. You are now coming out of this deep state of relaxation. And at the end of this countdown, open your eyes and feel refreshed and calm. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hi, welcome back. For this next practice, you're going to need some space, just enough to be able to expand your arms without hitting anything, expand your arms up, okay? But as far as your feet, you're just going to be placed with your feet under your hip joints. Not wide, but right under the actual joint, okay? I'd like you to just try your best to relax the neck and shoulders down. Maybe roll the shoulders up and back and down so that we can get ready to bring some focused awareness on our bodies. Now, as I mentioned before, when we're in moments of stress, our bodies compress or they puff up, and either way, it's out of alignment. Also, even when we're not in stress, we typically just kind of like lean on one hip. A lot of times people have their lower back and their hips, their pelvis tucked out, and that creates a lot of lower back pain. So I'd like you to try to tuck that pelvis forward so that you're a straight line from your tailbone up to the top of your head, elongating your neck, and open your arms and chest. Ooh, I just cracked. And then bring it forward, curling your back and hips forward, like we're reaching toward each other. You can even bend the knees and curl the back, curl the hips and pelvis forward, and open up, standing up straight, opening up the chest and upper body. And one more time, curling forward, reaching the arms forward, bending the knees into a little chair pose, and then reaching up. And this time I'd like you to reach your arms back like you're relaxing. This is a power pose. Truly, it sends a message to our brain that we are in control. Because when do we ever sit like this? Only when we're like relaxing on a beach or in a hammock or something, right? In bed. So if you do this pose for a few moments a day, it tells your brain that you're safe, first of all, so you don't have to get into that fight or flight response, and you're in control. And then shake that loose. Good. Now let's bring our chin to the chest, just to loosen up the back of the neck, and just roll the top of your head along your forward axis from right to left, just allowing the neck and the back of the neck and the trapezius to open up a little bit. And then lift the head up, spine straight and elongated. Now this is alignment. How often in our day do we stand and walk? But how often in our day do we stand and walk lopsided? You might even bring awareness to your feet and kind of find a balance between the front and back and sides to where you're perfectly aligned and balanced on your whole foot. I noticed that I tended to sort of curve my arches open and up, and I had to make a conscious effort to kind of pull them down to engage the muscles up my body. And if you're noticing yourself in perfect balance and alignment, you will start to recognize all the muscles that are needed to keep us balanced and aligned all day, every day. Do you feel the muscles in your legs and your core and your hips and even your shoulders? We don't give our bodies gratitude for just regular things like standing and walking. But I'd like you to take a moment to do that. Find that perfect alignment. Try to notice if there are any achy spots in your body that you can adjust by just sort of trying to open it up. Giving yourself a couple moments to try to create a space of just feeling balanced. Being grateful for this balance. And then I'd like you to consider the concept of carrying yourself with dignity. Now, I don't use the word confidence, carrying yourself with confidence, because confidence often puffs us up. And a lot of times in my past, I used to kind of diminish myself because I felt like that makes me look approachable. But you know what? Just being balanced and centered is approachable. And it's the best for ourselves and our body. So find that balance, that alignment, and carry yourself in a way that is not overconfident or anything, not diminishing yourself, but with dignity, just balanced honor. And then you can start to incorporate this in your walking. So how many times a day do we have to stand in line or we have to walk from one place to another? All the time. So when you're standing in line next time, maybe just find your balance, find your alignment, find the dignity in your body, and stand that way while you wait. Bring that centered, focused awareness inside for that few moments. And then when you walk, you can try to incorporate the same thing in your walking. At the beginning, it feels a little funny because you start to you're really super focused on your legs and your muscles. But after a while, it starts to feel just balanced and just comfortable. So again, practice makes perfect. You just try to incorporate it throughout your day and just see how it feels. And then you might notice how often we stand out of alignment or sit out of alignment, and try to make adjustments for yourself, for your health in that moment. Thank you. Singing is one of the only practices that we can do in life that uses both sides of the brain at the same time. And as if that isn't enough, it also incorporates our respiration, because we have to use our breath to create long tones. And we have to control the breath in a way that is different from just breathing naturally. So again, don't worry about how you sound, please. Truly, I know people say that they are tone deaf, but real tone deaf is only 4% of the whole human population in the world. It's very rare. If you can pick up a phone and distinguish the difference between a man's voice and a female's voice, or even better yet, hear somebody that recognize their voice over the phone, you are not tone deaf. But singing is a skill just like any other skill. You wouldn't expect to just sit down at the piano and whip up some Mozart. But for some reason with singing, we feel like, a lot of us say, it's not good enough. I can't sing. It's just a practice. So I'm going to show you a really, really simple singing technique that's more about the practice of controlling your airflow than it is about how you sound or creating any specific music. We're just going to inhale as best we can from our belly up. And what I think of with the belly breath is like you're inhaling an inner tube around your body. So it's not just in the front on the chest. It's not just this part of your belly, but around the rib cage. Like you're expanding all the way around. And then exhale on a hum. Excellent. And just like the breathing technique that we did, we're trying to make that hum go as long as possible. And I bet you matched pitch with me, because when I do this in workshops, it's amazing how the whole room will just naturally match pitch. And these are all people that typically say, I can't sing. Oh no, I can't sing. Trust yourself. Fill up your air from the belly up all the way around your rib cage. And release on a hum. Trying to go as long as you can. Now notice how your brain is responding while you're doing that humming technique. Are you able to think of other things? No, it's amazing. It's like a true, pure meditation because we are using both sides of the brain just to create the sound. So it's truly difficult to think of other things. Let's try this again. This time, as you sing your long pitch, and try to make it as long as you can go, tell your neck and shoulder muscles to relax and just engage the belly muscles just a little bit so that it helps you push that last bit of air out of your lungs. Okay? Filling up from the belly up, all the way around. Relaxing the neck and shoulders, and good. That time I did an ooh. You might try the difference between the hum and the ooh. The ooh will use a lot more air and will force you to control your breath a little bit more. So if you're feeling like the hum isn't enough for you as far as breath control, you can try doing the long ooh or ah, relaxing the jaw, trying not to tense up at all, just focusing on the airflow more than how you sound or anything like that. Again, singing also boosts the immunoglobulin A in our blood system, which is our immune system. So when you sing, and when you just sang with me right now, you just got an immunity boost. And they say in studies that if you sing in front of someone, even if it's just in the kitchen in front of your loved one, you get an immunity boost 3 times. So give it a try and tell me how you feel. I hope you enjoy it. Welcome back. I thank you so much for being a part of this journey with me. And I truly, truly hope that these techniques are beneficial for you, not just today, but for the rest of your life. Because these practices are aimed at being ways to refocus the mind, relax the body, and reconnect with ourselves, which will hopefully in turn help us reconnect with everyone around us. Again, these practices are aimed at being incorporated into your daily life. You don't have to have the perfect situation, peaceful environment, perfect quiet time in your day. I want you to try to use these practices within your workday, within your drive to and from obligations, while you're cooking, while you're getting ready to go to bed, while you're brushing your teeth even. These practices are able to be used throughout the day as many times as you need to. The hard thing is to recognize when we're in a moment of stress and to say, oh, let me take this opportunity to get myself out of this. But what I do is I just practice these techniques throughout the day anyway. Then when I get into a moment of stress, I'm more aware of that moment of stress and my body's reaction to it. And it's almost like muscle memory. And I just respond in a way that is a little more calm and reflective. Because we are going to get hit with stress. It is just part of life. Life will hit us every day in some capacity. And when you get hit, what spills out is what you are full of. If you are full of worry and anger, when life hits you with stress, you're going to respond with worry and anger. And that's not to say that, we're all meant to be totally calm all the time. But if we practice being focused, centered, and calm, if we carry the calm dignity that we already have within ourselves and regularly practice showing it, when life hits us with stress, we will respond in a more calm manner. I truly hope that this was helpful for you. Now let's go out and radiate the calm dignity that we already carry within ourselves. I thank you, and I wish you all the best. Hello, This video is to help you relax your whole body. Please make yourself comfortable in a reclined position, either in a chair or ideally relaxing in your bed, because this will help you feel restful and hopefully get some good sleep. Once you're relaxed, I'd like you to bring your attention to your toes. Focus down only on your toes. Wiggle your toes around, and maybe try spreading them out and wiggling them, spreading them out, and then just letting them relax. I'd like you to notice throughout this exercise if you feel any tension in these areas that are mentioned, and just try to tell those areas to relax and sink down into the chair or bed. Next, bring your attention to your feet. I'd like you to point your feet and flex them back. Again, point them forward and flex them back. And then just let them sink and relax into the chair or bed. Next, I'd like you to make your legs as stiff and tight as a board. Squeeze your leg muscles and your bottom tight, and then let them just relax. We're going to do that one more time. Make your leg muscles stiff and tight. Squeeze all the way up to your bottom, tight, and then let them relax and sink down into the bed. Next, we'll focus on our hands. Bring your attention to your fingers and just wiggle your fingers around gently and slowly. Stretch your fingers out, stretch your hands all the way out, and then just let them relax. We're going to do that one more time. Wiggle your fingers around gently, stretch your hands, and let them relax. Now bring your attention to your arms. Lift your arms up just a couple of inches, straightening them out, and then let them just sink down. We're going to do that one more time. Straighten your arms and lift them up just a couple of inches off of the chair or bed, and then just let them go, letting it all go. Next, I'd like you to place one hand on your belly and one hand on your chest. Let's focus on our breath for a little while. Notice if your breath is shallow or deep, quick or slow. We're going to do a couple of long exhalations. So with me, I'd like you to fill your breath up from the bottom of your belly all the way up to the top of your chest, as full as you can get, and then on the exhale, be slow and soft, like you're just letting out a little stream of air, like you're blowing bubbles. And fill up from the bottom up again, as full as you can get, bottom of your belly all the way up to the top of your chest, and release on a slow, soft, long exhale. Perfect. Lastly, I'd like you to bring your attention to your face. Scrunch your face tight like you tasted a lemon, and then stretch it wide like you're going to yawn. And then just let your face relax. Notice if you're holding any tension in your jaw, and just let your jaw relax. Close your eyes if you don't have them closed already, and just focus on your body. Notice if there's any tension lingering in any area and bring your attention to that area. Take a couple of deep, full inhalations and long, slow exhalations. We're going to slowly go back down to our toes. Bring your attention to your neck. Your shoulders are relaxing into the bed. Your shoulder blades are sinking down into the bed. Your belly is filling up slowly and gently with air and exhaling slowly and gently. Your legs are relaxed and sinking down into the bed. Your feet and toes are relaxed and sinking down into the bed. Just bring your attention to your breath one more time and see how slow you can exhale. And then just let your breath become comfortable and gentle. Comfortable and gentle.